Hello, welcome everybody to the Ninth Realm, an Age of Sigmar podcast, brought to you by Frontline, where you can get all of your gaming goodies at a discount.
Yes.
My name's Scott.
My name is Jason.
I'm Brandon.
And we pulled in Brandon today from the paint studio because our main topic is getting started, painting, and how to get it onto the table. So we're all going to have a little bit of piece of discussion on that. But before we go there, we always go straight to any new releases. And if there are crickets anywhere, they should be playing now, because for some reason there's something else taking all the wind out of Age of Sigmar's sales. I don't know what it is.
Right.
It's maybe something's coming out soon.
Something big.
Yeah.
Some big shadow is being cast, unfortunately, on the horizon right now.
Yeah. So all is quiet on the front of the Mortal Realms.
New realm.
Yeah.
A whole new realm's going to be built?
Yeah.
Oh,
New realm.
perfect. Can't wait then.
The eighth one.
There is an eighth realm coming out.
Realm.
It's pretty amazing. It has a new god,
Oh, yeah?
a chair god.
The God of Chairs? Mm-hmm. So we can all sit.
Yeah.
Not my chair.
That's way better, because I never sit when I'm playing. I need
Similar
a chair.
chaos gods. But there's 4 of them, not 3.
All right, so moving on. We have our rumor mill photo, and I'm going to jump right out of the gate. This has got to be a Stormcast. I'm going to say this is a Stormcast. Has to be, right?
It looks like an elder.
An Elder Stormcast?
An elder orc model.
An Elder Orc model.
That's my guess.
Okay.
It looks like that new realm we're talking about.
The 8th realm?
Yeah.
I think it's involved there.
Yeah, either a statue of a fallen Primaris.
I mean, I have the inside scoop. I know what that is.
Oh, you know what that is.
Yep.
With finger quotes, I hope.
He's an artist.
Okay, what is that?
That's Abaddon's new base.
It's Abaddon's new base. He's going to be standing on a Primaris Marine.
Yep.
Who's been shot in the head, and because there's a dent in the side of the helmet.
Stomped on.
So he's been pushed into the ground a bit.
I know people.
You know people?
Yeah.
Okay.
Brandon's very important.
It's nice to be important.
Very important guy in the paint studio here. No, it's all jokes aside. It is the helmet of a Primaris Space Marine, which is the new
head, and the inside looks
8th realm.
Almost
Space
jointish,
Marine.
so maybe it's dead and that's its bones.
Right.
That's it could be a Mark
it's fresher.
IV helmet, actually.
Mm-hmm.
You think so?
It could be.
Could be. I'm still thinking Primaris, but
Probably.
So some kind of scenic base
hoping
for
it
some
was
character.
I was hoping it was be a Stormcast, but when I pulled it up and looked at the picture, I realized no, it's not.
It would be nice to get a scenic base for a Stormcast smashed head. I don't think we'll see that though. It's very not family friendly.
No.
Which is more of the Age of Sigmar. You see more of that. You don't see the more brutal stuff in that game.
No.
Not usually.
Not really.
Not that it's a bad thing. It's just you don't normally see that kind of stuff in Age of Sigmar. You don't see the death and the arms being chopped off and heads being shot and stuff like that.
And then, of course, right after that, because there's not much to theorize there for Age of Sigmar, sadly.
No.
We go to our walk about the realms. What we've done.
About the realms.
Ooh.
Do you hear that?
I do hear something.
I don't know if there's gonna be a flute playing, but there might be. Anyways,
There might be.
What did we do?
Well, I went to the Coalescence event this weekend. I thought I was going to have to run it, but a gentleman who was planning on doing it originally may have gotten his orders to leave, and then he didn't, so he took it back over. So for a brief time, I was in charge, and then I got to forward everything to him, which means I got to go play.
You got to play.
Nice.
Which is nice. It was 3 rounds, and it was de-escalating. So you started at 15, 1,000, and 500 in your last game. And the whole goal was to atone these shards to go ahead and get the favor of a god beast that's been locked up and to get his power, so you were separated by your factions. And I'm happy to say at our store, Destruction won. We had 6 players, 2 Destruction, 2 Chaos, and then one of each of the others, 1 Death, 1 Order. Mm-hmm. And my game was a draw for the main points, and I picked up enough of the other points to pretty much a draw all the way across. And the way they did this was, if you achieved the main goal, you got 3 points for your team.
Okay.
And if you somebody on your team killed a monster, you got a point. If you achieved getting into combat, if Destruction, if you got into combat in the first turn, then you got a point, etc. So there's the way these little tick boxes.
Right.
And the way it was written, you can only get, as a group, you can only get 1. So maybe your table, you would have killed a monster with a hero, so you got the point for us, but I get to charge the first turn, so I got that point for us, and they would put it together. Okay. The other Destruction player won his table, and that ended up with us enough points for us to put us atop. And then the next game, you have to win all of the major objectives, all the destruction players, to keep the top points. Otherwise, it goes to the next group. We ended up doing that, and then in the end, we ended up controlling both tables also. I had nobody left by the end of the game, but it was atoning the shard. You got points for being close to it, and it was kind of a clear dead zone. And I had 2 shooting armies. So I went in, held it long enough to build up the points, and then just everybody died to fire and spells and other death and destruction. So, but it was fun.
Yeah, and that was the big narrative global event that was
going
on.
Yep. I'm not sure who came out on top.
Right.
But I'll have to go look at that later, because when I tried to look Sunday night, it really was just a bunch of reports on Twitter if you pulled up the hashtag for it.
Was that a GW thing?
They pulled in some of the NEO's narrative event organizers to kind of talk to them. They supported it on their community site that I had showed you where the picture was earlier.
Yep.
And kind of were part of it, and they're hoping they pull in the story from this for who ends up being on top. Maybe it'll make it a little bit into the fluff or some little side story somewhere, they're hoping. But nothing's solid.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't an official GW event, but they did support it.
Yeah.
And they talked about it on the Warhammer community page. I believe they promoted it on that page. I think that's where I saw it.
Yeah, they put it on the community page. They actually did it on Twitch. They mentioned it on Twitch. And they also spread that out to 40K too, about you can do this in both for narrative play. And it was kind of cool. You're playing the same game, same 3 games everybody else was, sending in your scores, getting kind of jazzed. Because as we were getting ready to play here on the West Coast, we were already hearing some of the results of the first turns on the East Coast and stuff like that. So it was kind of cool. Hobby this week. Anybody do any hobbying?
No.
No.
Did I?
You constantly do hobbying, so it's not.
Jason,
No,
nothing?
I didn't. Not Age of Sigmar hopping.
Did
Sadly.
you build anything?
No. I don't have time. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I've been working a lot.
No, I'm sorry.
Have you hobbied at all since the last time you talked about it on the show?
No.
Wow.
I know.
What are you doing?
What do I do? I don't know. I don't know. I usually have about an hour when I get home, from like 10 p.m. to 11, that I like watch Frasier
And that's cat
on
time.
Netflix, and I hang out with my cat. And that's a real statement. That's a real story. No, I haven't, unfortunately. It's just lack of time. It's not from lack of like interest. It's just I'd like to work on that death army that's sitting on top of my desk. I'd like to start a new army. I don't have the time currently.
It's all the time. It just takes time.
I'm just so busy shipping out these awesome orders from our awesome customers.
Lots of orders.
And printing. It's the mats, because we've started. If you guys don't know, we are U.S. manufactured mats that we do here, the game mats.
Right in the building.
Right. We print them here and ship them out here. So, but we do it ourselves here, and that's taken up quite a bit of time. So, Brandon, how about you?
Yeah.
Have you worked on
Any
anything
personal
personal?
hobby or just
Sigmar
all the
related?
commissions?
You worked on
Any hobby.
one recently for somebody in jolly old England, didn't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't
know if we should
I
name.
name drop in real life, but not on
I don't think we
camera.
should, yeah, but-
yeah, so I've been doing some Age of Sigmar commissions for some GW
Queen. For the Queen.
peoples.
Yeah,
We'll just say.
the Queen of England.
Yeah, it's the Queen.
Yeah.
Somebody at Games.
They don't use the heavy metal team for their own stuff. They use Brandon.
Well, she wanted to go to the best.
Well, those guys.
Yeah.
Those guys are doing the videos and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was some chaos stuff, some zangers on discs, skyboard
Oh
riders.
yeah, I saw it on your desk last week, right? Some pieces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some big pieces. The Zangers are amazing.
Been
The
working on
Skyfire
Franklin
ones.
stuff, Frankie. He also has a chaos army that been trying to do the what is the big guy? Archeon?
Oh,
Slowly
doing
but
it with
surely.
Archeon.
Yep.
So I can go ahead and see Zinch and Archeon on the table together,
Duh.
using their 6s to chop my head off. And
Those aren't
throw
fun
me into
games.
the
Those aren't
rift.
fun.
No.
Any
But other than commissions, I've been working on my death army. I'm working on the You Can't See Me list. So some Neferata. I just got another Mourngul from Forge World, so I have 2 of those now.
another Morin goal. They were 280, now they're 400.
Yep.
They went back and forth. That was funny.
I wish they were 280.
Well, they were 400. They came out with the point revisions and trumped it. They had it, and they'd moved it to 280. And like literally hours later, said, "Oh wait, that's all a mistake. All of this is wrong.
Yeah,
it's all back to
that'd be
400."
I got some bat swarms now, so if you're shooting me, you have a harder time hitting me. So
Like bat swarms.
if it all works, you're at like a negative 6 to hit.
So you're gonna play the you don't get to play army. So you wanted friends, or you just wanted to win games?
Have you ever played a game here at Frontline Gaming? No
I
one's
have.
here to
Never.
be nice. No one's
The
here.
only
to
one
be
that
sweet.
is me.
I'm always nice.
Yeah. The only one here with a fluff army is me, like ever. And then I get mad that I get just annihilated by everybody here.
Don't play them.
No.
Go find other people.
Just play with Scott on your league nights.
There you go.
Yeah.
I finished finally those 12 Stormcast. I need to go spray them. They're still sitting on the table. Actually, they're sitting next to my booth, waiting to have Matt put on them.
Testers, dull coat?
No, actually, I use the Vallejo has a little flat mat, or I use there's a couple of other brands you can put in your airbrush, thin out with a little alcohol, and do that.
Probably cheaper.
And of course, some pipes for 40K. It's coming. I don't have any of the models I want to paint, so I broke out one of the sets I've had sitting around forever of terrain and started painting up some of the Promethean pipes. And I got a realm gate done in case we were going to use that during the narrative, but we didn't. So you got it left in the box. As a matter of fact, it's in my car right now in the box because I still haven't taken the box out of the car.
It's hot out there today.
I know.
San Diego hot.
Ooh, it's like
75 degrees.
It's 72 degrees out there.
I know.
That's like Speedo
And
weather.
before we know it, it'll be the middle of summer and it'll be breaching 90 every once in a while. Ugh. But then it'll slip
Awesome.
into October and it'll go back into the 70s.
I have an air conditioner.
You have an air conditioner?
Yeah.
Good. So our big topic, collecting,
Yeah. So
painting, getting started, getting on the table, playing games.
yeah. So how to
What's your
get
process
into the hobby quickly, how to get into it cheaply, and then once you're into it, how to get yourself on the table quickly and cheaply. I guess it's probably the best way. So quick and easy.
Well, you do the filling of orders.
That's how we
here,
like
so
it
what's
here.
the cheap way to get that army together?
Cheap way, one, find a discount hobby distributor.
Maybe one that also does used models?
Yes. One that also sells used models. Maybe one that has a place called the Second Hand Shop, run by a fabulous individual named Pablo. No. So there's lots of places. Frontline Gaming, we do sell product at a discount. We also have a place that sells them secondhand called the Second Hand Shop. But really, in general, there's lots of ways to get into the hobby for cheap. Games Workshop.
eBay's good.
Yeah, I mean, you can if you don't want to go with the secondhand route, either through third-party retailers, eBay, anything like that. Games Workshop themselves have several starter kits that are very affordable. The Start Collecting being the iconic
all of
one
which
to get into.
pretty much give you a hero to start with, some basic units to put on the table, and a big thing to play with.
Right.
That's a good one to get
No,
started with.
I'd say those are like a great deal.
Right.
Yeah.
And a really good way to start an army.
And
Right.
the game's point scale, so even with that you can play. Because if you showed up at the store with that, I know our group, we'd figure out what we'd play against you and pair ourselves down to it.
Right.
But I mean, it matches and scales well.
Yeah, there's the new skirmish boxes now. I believe there's 4 available for most of the big armies. That can be
Iron Jaws, the Bloodbound, Stormcast, and Ghouls.
Yep. And so those are good supplementals to the Start Collecting boxes. You get a couple different heroes. You get a couple more the footline troops that you get. A couple of the specialty ones. I think the Iron Jaws. You get a couple more of the brutes. I think you get like 3 brutes, and you get a couple of the iron or
No,
the
you
Art
get 5.
Boys.
Actually, you get 5 brutes.
Oh, nice.
In that starter box, you get enough that if you're going to transfer over, all of them with the Stormcast has enough of each one. If you transfer over and play the full game from the
Right.
skirmish box, it actually matches and
Right.
fits.
Nice.
Which was nice. I found the Stormcast one a little odd because they give you like 3 of the Liberators. I'm like, well, I need groups of 5.
Right.
But the rest of them all translate over easy.
Okay.
Yeah. And again, you don't need much to get into this hobby at all.
No.
You really don't need much more than a single model. I mean, honestly, to play, I mean, this game, you don't need points to play this game. You put down whatever you have, somebody else puts down what they have, and you play the game. That's how it works. When you're learning the rules, that's how you should be playing with your friends. You shouldn't be going to your friends and be like, okay, well, you need 2,000 points and blah, blah, blah. You say, okay, what do you have? This is what I have. Encourage your friend to get the starter box. Encourage your friend to pick something that looks cool, that's going to get them engaged in the hobby, to get them excited about it. So even if you think, okay, that's the stupidest thing for them to buy, like, oh, it's not competitive at all. But if they're really keyed in on that box set, have them buy that one box set, get them into the hobby, start playing with that one box against whatever you want to bring, and that's a very cheap, easy way to get into it. They just need that box. That's it.
Well, and I'm always in the camp. You shouldn't look for what is quote unquote competitive. Get what you're going to like to put on the table and
Right.
see play. because you're going to lose games. You're going to win games. Purposely going out of your way to get the newest thing or the what's going to be competitive. Well, it won't be competitive by 3 books later.
Right.
It'll have some dinks or holes in it, and that's just what's going to happen. Get something you like.
My rule is if I like the way it looks, I'm going to give it a go. Like
Yeah.
that's how I'm going to start
And
something.
with
so.
Sigmar, and actually from what I've heard with you guys doing your casts every night at the games, everything's competitive. Everything can win games. There's no instant lose army to hit the table, really.
No.
I mean, if you read the rules, you understand how your army works, you put together the right things to get your synergies going, anything will work.
The
Right.
dice are going to choose it anyway.
Right. And you can play to if you're playing in matched play.
Sometimes.
Some would say skill. Others will say dice. I say cheating and buying your friend beers, but
Right.
that's me.
There's also you can slaughter animals
What?
for sacrifice.
Huh?
I mean, well, if you
That's going
want.
a bit
Getting
far.
dark real fast.
Well, okay. Never mind.
I'm
There's
under
things
the-
you can. We're just
How
saying.
about buying a
there's
bucket
stuff
of fried
you can
chicken and
do.
putting it out for the ancestors?
Yeah.
Would that be okay?
Yeah,
Okay.
that'll work.
I'm under the
In
train
a
of thought
pinch.
where I just like, hey, lose this last game, I'll paint a model for you.
Yeah. Brandon is
Really?
into bribery. Bribery wins games.
Oh yeah.
That's what he says.
How come I've never gotten to play you?
Not
You're
yet.
never at the top table, man.
Yeah, that's how he's at the top. It's always at the top, baby. He paints a lot of
Thanks.
free
I was
models.
hoping the answer would be because you ran everything I've been to, but that's
That's
fine,
true, that
that's
is
fine.
true.
I'm not at the top tables. That's a reasonable comment about my play style. So yeah.
He paints a lot of free models. So
And
he's always at the top. Yeah.
so now you've got your models.
You got your
them all
models.
together.
You got it in cheaply. You didn't
You
have
got
to
to
get
put
a
them on the
lot.
table painted.
Right. Okay. You got a
Even
tournament.
to a base level, which I have problems with. I really do.
This is my problem too, big time. You got a tournament in a week.
Because
What the hell? What do you do, Brandon?
that's what I end up with when I'm done
Top
because I
painter.
can't do just a base thing and
That
put it on the
looks
table.
great.
Well, yeah, but that took
does look
forever. For me.
That took him 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For that one model.
It would take you, what, one day to get all 12 of those done and put them out similarly?
Probably 30, but
30 minutes.
no
30
30
minutes.
of them.
Oh.
30 of them. Fine.
I'm kidding.
No, but, but how do you do it that fast? Because I come in, I'm always amazed. There's a new set on your table. The old set that I came in the week before is already out to be packed to ship. And they look brilliant.
Right.
I can't do it that way.
Brandon is not the best painter in the world. He's not the most handsome painter in this room. I would say
He came here to be
he is.
abused?
He is. He was the fastest.
I
at least.
love opposite day.
Opposite day.
All right. So, but Brandon.
Anyway.
But seriously,
Jokes
no,
aside,
I-
Brandon is one of the top painters in the country, and you're probably the fastest painter I've ever met personally.
Pretty quick.
So let's say you got your new stuff, you got your start collecting box. You got to get the stuff tabletop ready in a week. The TO is being a real jerk. He
Thank
says
you.
you
Yes, I
gotta
am.
you gotta get it 3 color minimum.
Yeah, their 3 color is
Yep.
fully painted.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
First step, organize your desk.
Okay.
Dress for
Oh,
success.
So you saw my desk here.
Yeah. Ooh, rough.
Yeesh.
No, my
Yeah.
desk looks worse than that. Or what I mean is organize things the way you envision you're going to be doing. So if you're going to be doing blue, have your blues out and ready for you. Just the generic things, because a lot of people are fishing through a bucket for their paints. You need to have a general idea of what paints you're going to be using ahead of time
Yeah.
and have those ready for you.
Check there.
And then
good on
batch painting.
Yep.
As much as you can do with a spray can or a big brush, do it.
that. Or an airbrush.
If you have an airbrush, I never, when I'm training someone to paint, I never talk about an airbrush because
Okay.
most people don't have them.
Well, yeah, and if you're talking about somebody getting started, you're not going to buy
That's an
airbrush for
advanced
your first
thing. That's an advanced thing. You don't go out and buy an airbrush before you start when you're first learning how to do this.
Yeah.
That's the like, hey, I've been doing this for a while. I might just go get a dinky airbrush and try to play around with it. It's not a like here's
No.
how you paint. Go buy an airbrush.
And until you understand how to use an airbrush, that's more of a headache than just doing it with a big brush
Yeah.
anyway.
It was when I got started.
You can do we can do hours of discussion on
Oh,
the
yeah.
airbrush.
Yeah.
And no one likes
Well,
that.
And the
They're
headache.
boring.
Hopefully you guys
Yeah.
will. What? They're not boring. I love watching how I
Right.
can get better with my airbrush.
So let's
Okay.
say so you brought up a good point, right?
got 'em all
We're
together.
going to be batch painting this, right? You got
Yeah.
your start collecting. You're going to have a unifying color theme, right? You're going to want to identify what the main unifying color is going to be, and you're going to want to start with that. And you're going to want to paint most of the model that color.
Like, if you're doing destruction and you've got some oryx, get that green on there.
Right.
Like, you can
Okay.
sloppily paint the armor panels and clothes. If you have a good base of green, you have an orc army or an orc army, So
Yep.
start with the basics. Get the main color down. I always tell people start with that. Whatever the main color is, start with that. A lot of people will take something, if it's gold trim, they'll paint the whole thing gold. I found it just to be too difficult and time consuming to fill in the parts that aren't. I say if it's going to be blue with gold trim, paint it blue.
Mm-hmm. And then do the gold.
Yeah. Focus on that, because a blue army that doesn't have the trim painted yet looks a lot better than a gold army with some blue patches.
Yep. Yeah, and half the time, and you're going to spend so much time going in there, and like when you're putting the blue in between all that gold trim, you're going to be like slopping blue all over that gold trim. You're going to be touching that up, and then you're going to be putting the gold on the blue again, and it's just horrible.
So a base color I can find, trim that's going to match.
Yep. And
finishing it off.
Basing. Have an idea of what you want to do for basing before you start. Like, what FLG mat are you going to match your army to?
Right.
That's not bad, because
that is a baseline standard.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Now a lot of
well, I wasn't going to argue with you, because actually I went out and got lava bases for my when I get my Primaris in my hands to start painting, to put those out. Mm-hmm. Then I already have those matched to the mat. So I'm looking at the color on the mat, looking how I'm going to dark and light my bases so they look like they belong when I put them down.
What I've taught our, when we have an apprentice or someone new in this studio, a lot of the time you can make a model that's just a tabletop level or not even fully painted pop if the bases look great, because it'll take away from, half-ass, halfway done models.
Well, when do you start? Do you or when do you start talking about maybe color theory? Getting the base to contrast, no, huh?
I don't do color theory.
Don't do it. Okay.
I mean, we're talking about like getting it basically ready, like for a tournament that you have like a week to get it ready, right? So for like in terms of basing, like what I like to do is I like to do the base before when I'm priming. Is that something you would advise as well? So like let's say, okay, I know I'm going to dry brush.
Lava base, right. I would say put your flock on there, or put your rocks
put your sand on there, and then prime it on there.
Glue it on there. You'll see GW preaches this. You'll see, all the other artists on there. A lot of them use Elmer's glue. I recommend super glue. Put super glue on your base when you're putting sand on. Okay. It won't come off. If it's a huge, large base, that's when you have to use the Elmer's glue, because the super glue, when it dries, will bend the base. But otherwise, super glue will be on there. It'll be successful. Mm-hmm. It won't flake off when you're painting it.
I always use the Vallejo has their own set of like big tubs of stuff, and I put that on after. Yep. That's what that guy has. The red around his base is that. Mm-hmm.
Or the new GW texture line.
The GW texture line is the same.
Like that.
The only problem I've had with those is if you don't use them right away, because I said, oh, these are great, I got them, put them aside, and then I went to my Death Army to do it like 3 months later, opened them up, and they were all dry and hard.
Yeah, buy new.
Yeah, if you're going to do it right away,
because I did $4 investment on that for your whole army. You can usually get most of an army done with one pot. It's worth it.
If you had to give a beginning hobbyist the number one tip for painting, what would it be? Just a one thing that drive you nuts.
Stay consistent.
Stay consistent. Okay. Yeah. Mine would be water your paints down.
Oh, you're just gonna go right to
lick your brush.
Lick your brush.
Lick the brush.
You have to be one with your brush.
See, the advice I always give is don't try everything.
Right.
Whatever you're doing now, grab one new thing to try with your new army. Because if you try to do 3 or 4 new things, it's just not going to be happy. Focus on that one thing. If you haven't done much edge highlighting, just practice that. What are you going to do for the whole army for that edge color to make it stand out? You're done with that? Great. Did you try doing a blend? Just do it on some piece of the army. Give it a shot. And that's what I do every time. I just pick a new thing to try to throw at the model. Use all of my old tools, but pick a new one to add to it rather than 3 or 4 things.
It really does amaze me a lot of times that you say these things to some people, like batch paint, right? It seems like a no-brainer. Like, okay, like you have 30,
but if they don't know what that really is.
30 orcs, don't sit there and paint each one individually. It's going to take you 6 months to do that. But some people, you tell them, oh, why don't you just all paint it every color at the same time? They're like, their mind is blown. Like, oh my God, like I never thought about that. But then I forget, like people who are new to the hobby, you don't think about those things, and it doesn't say that, or prime with your texture on for your base. It's just people don't think because they don't know, right? And so it's always good to be reminded about those things from people who do it all the time. And again, Brandon, this is something you do for your job. You're sitting there at a desk painting all day long. Mm-hmm. You forget sometimes. For you, it's second nature. It's automatic. You just do it. if somebody comes in and they ask you about it, for you, you're just like kind of like, oh yeah, duh. But it's like, you know what I mean? It's
It is
a lot of
hard to
people just don't
remember
think
what
about it.
things you need to teach people.
Right.
Because it is just kind of...
Right. So like once you put your base coat down, like you need now to wash it. And now that the wash is on, it's not done. You need to go back and bring the color back up. You know, so there's all these little steps to do.
Prime,
I would say
priming
don't
it
get
through the
discouraged
paint and-
because the
don't.
army will probably look kind of ugly until you get to those finishing touches. I tell people when they walk up to my desk that say, that's not looking very good. It's like, it's not
Yeah.
done.
Right.
Leave it alone.
Right.
Leave it alone. It's in process.
It'll get there.
Right.
Yeah. Well, and another piece of advice I've heard people give out is if you're just getting started, build 5, totally paint 1, put it aside, totally paint the next one, and you'll see your improvement after those 5. And then what you've learned on those 5, then you batch.
Okay.
Okay.
Because the
Good
first
advice.
one, when you're first painting, that first one's going to look terrible. Because I know my first few it looked like a crayon went at it, and it
Right.
was,
And don't overdo it. Like, don't be the guy that goes and buys 2,000 points worth of product, and then, like Scott,
yeah.
and then a year later, you're the
get
guy that
overwhelmed.
has a half-assembled 2,000-point army that has, like, you know, a unit painted. You know, I would advise you, if you're not in a hurry, go buy one unit, put it together, paint it, buy the next unit, put it together, paint it. There's no hurry.
No.
You know, and it makes you, I feel it's better to do it that way. It gives you something to look forward to. You know, you don't get burned out.
Well, and play with what you've got.
And that's speaking from experience. Like,
Well, most people
a
aren't
lifetime of
tournament
experience.
players. They are doing it for the fun of the game.
Right.
And those people, you got plenty of time. Yeah.
You
got
One
plenty of
unit at a time is the way to go. I feel you'll be most successful that way.
Yeah.
Because unless you're me and I must be psychotic, but to batch paint 100 models at a time,
Yeah.
like it's not fun to do that.
No.
You know? So
Do them in
I think what you
tens,
said
play
is,
with them
is
in
right
groups,
on.
and-
It's a unit at a time. Pick your favorite unit that day.
Okay, so thanks for listening to that main topic. I think we're
Yeah.
going to talk about, what are we going to talk about? The
Oh, you got some...
rankings that's been updated? It's automatic now, right? It just happens?
It's automatic. I don't know if there's anything new, but if we want to go through them.
Sure, let's do it.
All right.
It's always fun to say the people's names at least.
Well, and they work so hard.
I know. And they know that we love them.
Of course, now it's not... Oh, openly. There it is. Oh.
Bear with us, guys. We are
I'm technically
going
challenged, I
off
guess.
of the, not the computer screen today.
All right. So Samuel Valdez, still first place.
Yeah, you can go ahead and read the
The
top,
top
10. Yep.
rankings. Michael Birch in second, Vlad Nietzsche in third, Joshua Harvey in fourth, Zach Lopez in fifth, Garnet Zasueta in sixth, Matthew Pashby in seventh, Alex Gonzalez in eighth, Ryan Areola in ninth, and Stephen Hachi in 10th. And that's for our overall rankings. Our teams, we still have Betty's Flying Havanikins.
Fighting.
Fighting Havanikins?
I don't want to. You said flying. I don't.
I like flying.
The flying
What is that
Havanikins
name?
would be amazing. I don't want to make them
Yep.
upset though.
2, Your Mom's Garage. And in third place, We Slay Dragons.
They should just write out their whole name.
I don't know. Canhammer's in fourth, and the Tryhands are in fifth.
Tryhards.
Tryhards. Don't get me to read tiny words.
Do you want me to? I'll do it.
Glasses, man.
My eyes are still good somehow. That's about it though. All right, so here we go.
My eyes are good. I'm just dyslexic.
The top. Here, I'm going to say the top name. This is the ITC faction rankings. Beast Claw Raiders, we have Frank Deloach. Good old Frank. He's a local kind of guy.
Yep.
Bone Splitters, we have Grant Potsubi. Chaos, this is the Chaos Alliance. Zach Lopez, Death Alliance. Alex Gonzalez, Destruction Alliance. Samuel Valdez. Disciples of Zinch, Michael Birch. Flesh Eater Courts, we have Lance Shee. Fire Slayers, hey, there's 2 people on here now.
That's right.
Brad Jimenez. Iron Jaws, Scott Reed. Blades of Corn, Frank Deloach.
Frank Deloach.
2 top places for Frank Deloach.
2.
You are a greedy man, Frank. Order Alliance, James Hill. Seraphon, we have Jarrett Zazueta. Skaven Pestilence, which always seems so weird that they have their own battle tome. John Fearhelm. Stormcast Eternals, Adam Mofrad, which is, I always mention, our masterclass painter. Sylvaneth, Vlad, Nika. If you guys don't know.
Was that a dig?
It is.
Is that a dig I missed?
Adam's another one of our painters. Brandon's is the head of our studio, but Adam is one of our outside sourced artists who does our master class, and I always give him rivalry. But they're both
Adam's
equally
army
good.
is beautiful.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
my army wasn't even fully painted, but I think we saw each other at a tournament. And,
Really? You guys kind of like
and
eye each other across the
decided
room?
that, at the end of the game, whoever won was the better painter.
Oh, yeah, that's how we decided?
I am
Did you win?
obviously the better painter.
Did you smash
though
him?
you didn't
and
have
he
a
was
finished
probably
army and he did?
he was smiling the
Don't
whole
need
time.
to
I'm
have
sure.
that.
Don't need to. Okay, don't need to.
He was probably laughing the whole time.
Now I
Such
know
a
how
nice
this
guy.
works. I'm ready. I'm just
Super
going to half
nice guy.
sprayed. Guys, ready to go.
Okay, and then we do have some
Upcoming events.
and this is
So
the
the
next.
AOS ITC 1500 Hobbytown, USA in Spokane, Washington on June 17th. Damama's Boys, AOS Fighting, Night Fight Night 2, 1000K, San Francisco, California on the 17th. Can Hammer AOS Mini 3, party in Brockville, Ontario, Canada on June 17th. Age of Sigmar Summer Solstice, Memory Lane Antique Mall. Gate City, VA, Virginia.
Yep, and those are one of our. That's one of our retailers that sell the mats.
And Hammerhead Age of Sigmar tournament in Georgia,
Valdosta, Georgia.
yeah, on the 24th. And also the Battleshock Bash is coming up, and that's in St. Louis, Missouri on the 24th, 25th. It's going to be at the Gateway Open
Nice.
tournament
So
there
that's
in
a
the middle of
GT.
the country.
Yep.
Yeah, that's all. That'll be for a future topic, talking about the Summer of Sigmar.
Oh, nice, because
Tease
of all the
that.
big GTs
Yeah.
coming up. Nice.
Yeah, all this 40K stuff's coming out, but AOS is
All
being
this
played
eighth
everywhere.
realm stuff
Eighth realm
happening.
stuff, yeah. So that's it for us today, right? You've got to get back to the
Yeah.
desk. And
Brandon's got to get chained back up on his desk.
I wasn't chained.
We gotta
I
chain
know
him
it's
back.
there, but I don't mention it. It's just wrong.
We just don't talk about it?
Yeah.
Well, I got to drag him back to
I
it.
actually have a cot now.
Yeah, we give him a cot.
They bought me a cot.
It has a couple holes in it.
And the
it's
mini
right under
fridge.
the link. The
There you
leak.
go.
No fridge.
No fridge.
No
Not yet.
fridge.
Not now.
Don't worry.
All right.
Another dig.
All right, guys.
So anyway, you guys have a great time. Thank you so much for listening to us today, and good luck out there on the tables.
All right. Bye, guys.
Hey, Brandon here, lead painter for the FLG Paint Studio. Just wanted to let you know that we have all kinds of cool pictures, blog posts, and tutorials at the flgpaintstudio.com. And if you're looking for a quote for your next project, come check us out.